I have listened to and watched a lot of conspiracy theories, but today I'm specifically going to talk about the theory that concerns about reptilians and reptilian aliens ruling this world, and that all the major leaders of this world are just reptilian aliens which can shapeshift between those reptilian forms and the human forms. The major political leaders and all the richest people, like all the technology leaders like Mark Zuckerberg, are all reptilian aliens. They are ruling the world, and there are only a few selected people are influencing the whole world. I definitely agree with the fact that a few people might be influencing the whole global events, a lot of global events. I definitely agree to that point to a certain degree, but as far as those people being reptilian aliens, that is something I simply cannot take those things seriously. I really like watching these kind of videos and reading about it, because it's, to be honest, it's really very entertaining to watch these videos and to listen to these people explaining and giving various evidence as to how they can how they can prove that these people are really aliens. But as I've said, I only watch them from an entertainment point of view. Yes, the theory that they propose, that these reptilian aliens are ruling this world, is truly very outlandish, and it really sounds very absurd. But at the same time, I would say that they might probably be true. Just because it sounds absurd doesn't mean that it's false. Definitely it might be true, but it's most likely that aliens do not rule the world. All these conspiracy theories are just wrong. And here is why I think that those conspiracy theories are wrong. If you have watched any movies that includes murders, crimes, or detectives, you might have seen that for a single incident or for a single accident, there are multiple stories. Different people say different stories about the same incident. They have different explanations. And all these explanations seem to make sense about the incident. They all describe the incident very clearly. But only one explanation or only one story can be correct. So how can you decide, or how does the judge decide that which is the correct explanation, or which is the true story, and how to find the criminal? Well, the best thing that you can do is to look at the evidence that supports the story, or that supports the narrative of the person. If you find enough evidence that convinces you that his story is the right version of the story, or his story explains, or that evidence shows that his story explains the incident more clearly, then you can say that this is the real story. So that's the main point: evidence. The evidence that these conspiracy theorists provide is not very tangible, and they really do not have any physical proof about the existence of these aliens, these reptilian aliens that are ruling this planet. They do not have any picture of any UFOs. They do not have any picture of any videos of any of these reptilian aliens. Not one, not a single one. How can that be? At least someone somewhere could have at least captured a single picture or a single video of them, of those reptilian aliens, or shape-shifting between aliens and humans, but not a single one exists. So how can you just so there's no way. That is the main thing for me. They do not really have evidence that convinces me that these things are real. And most of their evidence includes the ancient scriptures of a lot of ancient civilizations. And they use the scriptures, the stories, the mythologies of those ancient civilizations to justify their claims. And as far as mythological stories are concerned, I really have a different view about mythological stories after reading a lot about Carl Jung and watching Jordan Peterson's interpretation about Carl Jung's work on mythology and archetypes, collective unconscious, all those things. So as per Carl Jung, those mythological characters actually represents archetypes, and archetypes are basically just symbols representing something. They are not literal representations. Mythology as far as Jordan Peterson and Carl Jung is concerned, mythological characters are not a literal representation of those characters that they talk about. That means they might not be living and breathing creatures, but they represent something different. And in this case, what I think that those reptilian beings represent is our animal side, or our reptilian side. So in the 1960s, there was a neuroscientist named Paul MacLean who developed a theory of the brain which is known as the triune brain theory. So in that model, there are three parts of the brain: the reptilian brain, the limbic brain, and the neocortex. The reptilian brain is responsible for controlling the most basic instincts of all the creatures, like survival, reproduction, and self-preservation. So that is the most animal side of a creature, and that brain, that side also exists in humans. So when they refer to reptilian brain, or when they refer to reptilians, they were most probably they are using those reptilian creatures as a symbol. They are using that word as a form of symbolism of some sort to represent the animal nature inside us. And also, people like David Icke, he's a very popular conspiracy theorist who claims that this world is ruled by those reptilian aliens. And when asked about what do they want from the human civilization, what are they trying to get from us, what David Icke says is that their goal is to keep us in these, or even Alex Jones, those people are saying that these reptilian aliens are actually trying to suck our energy, and the main aim of those aliens are that they want to keep the human race or the humans busy, angry, confused. That is what they want, so that the human is never happy, they are never fully actualized, and that is how they get their energy. You know what? It sounds like a fairy tale. It sounds like a story you're talking that you tell young children how demons do those things. If they are interdimensional beings, or if there's such an advanced civilization, why would they even want to rule over humans or Homo sapiens? I'm a human being. I would never want to be a king of a group of animals. So from my point of view, it is just the reptilian aliens are just a symbolical form, or it is just a symbolical way of explaining to humans that how the reptilian side of our brain, or how the animal side of our brain can affect our lives. How, if we do not control the animal side of us, the animal within us, how it can create disarray in our life, create unhappiness, create disorder in our life. And I think that these stories or these mythologies are just about telling the humans through a kind of story that do not let your animal side take control over you. You master it. That is what I think that these kind of stories are trying to explain through a symbolical form. The reptilian brain helped our ancestors survive in the wild because the reptilian brain is responsible for our self-survival or for self-preservation. But we no longer live in those wild conditions. But still, this reptilian brain exists inside us. And right now, in this kind of society, more of this neocortex brain is required. And we must be able to control this reptilian brain of ours, this desire, anger, fear, all arise from this reptilian brain, and if we do not control it, then they will take control of, and this reptilian brain will take control of our body. And these stories, or these mythological stories, are just an artistic way to explain this kind of concepts to people. And that is why I think so this story should not be taken literally, but rather one should try to learn a lesson from those kind of stories. But still, I would say at the end that since I cannot conclusively prove that this kind of reptilian aliens do not physically exist, so I would just say that one should really keep looking into it. Who knows? They might really actually physically exist.